It is great to have you with us here at 4 o'clock on this Tuesday. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence, and we begin with the shock waves and questions this afternoon after President Trump ordered a freeze on all federal loans and grants.
A move that could potentially impact trillions of dollars and affect millions of people across the country. So why the pause and what could it mean for Indiana? Let's start with Laura Aguirre, who has the latest details and reaction.
As of 5 p.m. Eastern today, all federal grants and loans are officially frozen.
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door.
Democratic backlash swift and scathing.
Donald Trump has shut off billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that directly support states, cities, towns, schools, and most of all, American families.
The Appropriations Committee has voted bipartisan House, Senate, signed by the president, and this is law.
Appropriations governed by Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, which essentially grants Congress the so-called power of the purse.
I spoke to my Attorney General this morning. She's head of the State Attorneys General Association. They're going to court right away.
An updated budget office memo sent out midday directs any agency impacted by the freeze to answer questions related to their purpose, such as aiding undocumented migrants, climate policy, diversity programs, or abortion.
It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs, for the Green New Scam, for transgenderism and wokeness.
The funding memo specifically names Social Security and Medicare benefits as exempt, along with, quote, assistance provided directly to individuals.
It is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars.
They need tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, and these cuts, they think, will fund them.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And local nonprofits are concerned today about the impact of that pause in federal grants that goes into effect in less than an hour now.
Rich Nye has been talking with the leaders of those organizations all day. So, Rich, what are they telling you?
Well, there's a great deal of uncertainty about what this pause means, and there's worry about what this means for organizations that depend on federal grants to provide social services. The United Way of Central Indiana operates a variety of programs and works with numerous other organizations in the community to accelerate financial stability and upward mobility for individuals and families living at or near poverty. And there is frustration that distribution of money already appropriated by Congress could now be put on hold.
Many of our partners, whether they are folks that work in healthcare, whether they are folks that work in homelessness and housing, whether they work in food security, they all rely on, to some extent, federal grant dollars that come from the Department of Agriculture, or that come from Health and Human Services. This has created an enormous amount of anxiety for nonprofits, large and small.
And so, Rich, the Trump administration reiterated that this is not going to impact people receiving direct assistance from the federal government. We heard Social Security, Medicare, but what about the people who receive federal benefits indirectly through some of these nonprofits?
And that's where the concern is for these agencies, because they are on the front lines. They're the ones helping people every day with a variety of programs. And the money they receive is often coming through the federal government, then to the state government, and maybe even through a city government before it winds up with them through some kind of grant or program. But they're the ones who are eventually taking that money and giving it to people. The Indianapolis Urban League says that they have received about $1 million in federal funding annually, directly and indirectly. The Urban League provides job training, rent assistance, food assistance, and many other programs.
Any agency that is providing critical services to people right now are impacted by this. And so, what does that mean while, this is being sorted out? What does that mean for someone who needs assistance today or who will need it a month from now, and when organizations are counting on those resources to be able to assist people?
Leaders of nonprofits say they are being challenged to find alternative funding sources and evaluate all their programs right now. because of that threat of federal dollars suddenly going away or certainly being delayed. And I talked to several other nonprofits and agencies and councils, and many of them said, we're just not ready to comment yet because we don't know what this means and how this will impact us.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the need is still there.
Yeah, and it came just immediately, right? Just the sudden announcement last night.
Yeah, we're less than an hour away now from this taking effect.
Okay, well, we are starting to see the ripple effects of some of these executive orders and federal moves that are happening right now. Rich, thank you for breaking it down, giving us the micro lens of what's happening. Yep,
thank you, Rich. The other big story we're following nationally and locally this afternoon is immigration. President Trump ramping up his mass deportation plan as promised. Today, he sent dozens of immigrants back to Colombia following a standoff with that country's president that quickly ended, you'll remember, after a threat of stiff tariffs. And there have also been ICE raids across the country. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has that from New York City.
Newly confirmed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is here in New York City today, and we've already seen multiple arrests throughout the city. This is all part of the Trump administration sending a message and keeping a campaign promise. Now, according to a senior administration official, ICE has arrested about 1,200 people in just one day, but only about half of those are undocumented immigrants with prior criminal records, besides being in this country illegally. Now, we have spoken with ICE agents who tell us to expect so-called collateral arrests. In other words, when they go after a target, there may be people in and around the area who are undocumented, and they are arrested as well. Now, according to people familiar with the planning, we understand that this is one of several operations this week. We saw Chicago, New York, and then on Thursday, we expect one in Aurora, Colorado. And ICE field offices across the country are being told that the goal is to get between 1,200 and 1,500 arrests nationwide a day. Back to you.
And big developments on this story from the State House today. Governor Braun just signed an executive order directing Indiana to essentially do everything it can to help the feds enforce immigration laws using police, Homeland Security, and the National Guard. Here's the governor talking to reporters about it earlier this afternoon.
And most Americans are of the mindset that if you've committed a crime, after you've come into the place illegally, that you need to be held accountable. Indiana is going to be a state that is going to be helping the administration find these folks that are described as the worst first, and I'm happy to do it, and I think you're going to see a bunch of other states do it as well.
The governor saying going after the worst first there, and that this is all about keeping people safe. So here's what is in that executive order. It requires all state contractors to verify their employees are legally allowed to work in the U.S. before they can be a contractor for state government. It directs police to report what it calls credible evidence of illegal aliens with a prior criminal history to the Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center. The Fusion Center collects and analyzes information about criminal and terrorist activity in the state. And then the order also makes the Indiana National Guard available to cooperate with ICE. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker will be breaking this down even further. She was there and she's got more from the governor in reaction. That's coming up shortly on 13 News at 5. And we will hear from Governor Braun again tomorrow night for his first ever State of the State address. He'll deliver it to a joint session of the Indiana General Assembly in the larger House chamber of the State House. That address starts at 7 o'clock. We'll carry it live. You can watch it here on WTHR or WTHR Plus. We're going to move Wheel of Fortune over to MeTV tomorrow for the State of the State address.
Okay, well, here is a shot of outside. It seems like we are just kind of rinsing and repeating these last several days. How long is this warm streak going to be with us?
Well, we're just getting started.
Oh,
We're just getting started.
Even better.
Now, I saved you all for, from the shorts. I left the shorts at home today. But
okay.
We're getting close. I mean, we're getting close to shorts weather here, I'm telling you.
I took a walk this afternoon and it felt like spring. I know you don't like hearing that. It's not even close to spring.
Subjective. He's
I know.
talking about shorts weather. What do you mean, 80?
I've got something for you. Yes. I got something for you here in a second, Felicia. Let me show you our beautiful camera network full of sunshine once again. Temperatures in the middle 40s. Now keep in mind, just a few weeks ago, we had sub-zero wind chills. So where are we in our seasons, our 13 seasons? We're right here, Felicia. It's It's called Fool's Spring. Fool's Spring. You'll see the 7-day in a moment and you're going to be like, oh man, winter's over. Far from over, far from over. We're at 45 right now, a southwest wind. It's still gusty just like yesterday. Not as strong, but certainly a bit brisk out there from the southwest at about 20 miles per hour. But it's delivering our warmest temperatures we've had at least since the middle of the month. Not far from 50 in Bedford, not far from 50 in Terre Haute, and we've got you at 46 degrees in Lafayette here. So we're definitely eating away at the snowpack and just pretty pleasant conditions. And we're going to have just about a carbon copy for tomorrow. Got a little weather feature. I'll let you know what that's going to do. We've got to talk about some rain, and we've got some 50s in the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.